Well, students, today we are going to discuss another important theory of learning named classical conditioning theory. This theory is given by the Ivan Pavlov. So first of all, we understand what we will learn under this theory. Under this theory, we will learn meaning of classical conditioning theory. What are the assumptions of this theory? Pavlov experiment on dog, model of classical conditioning, and last May we will discuss educational implication. Guys, this is the most important theory. Many times, happens, it comes in the exams. So, learn carefully this theory. So this theory, classical conditioning theory, it was developed by the Russian physiologist cum psychologist Ivan Pavlov during the late 1920s, right? This theory is also known as Pavlovian conditioning theory, conditioned response theory, conditioned reflex theory, and respondent condition theory, right? Respondent conditioning theory. So according to this theory, Ivan Pavlov, who, developed this theory, he wants to say that learning takes place by conditioning. Okay. Early theory we have done now, trial and error theory, right? So what trial and error theory we have learned? Learning takes place by making mistakes. But under this theory, Ivan Pavlov wants to say that learning takes place by conditioning. You have to condition the student. When the student would be conditioned, he will learn automatically. Whatever you want, okay, he should learn, right? So conditioning क्या चीज होती है? First of all, understand the word conditioning. Conditioning means when we get the original response by giving artificial stimulus, right? When we get original response by giving artificial stimulus, this is called conditioning. Means हम कुछ भी बच्चे को, we are saying that student, okay, tomorrow you will come, in the class by learning this topic, I will give you the, some reward, right? मतलब you are giving the some artificial stimulus, okay? So you will see that, next day what will happen? Student will come in the class by learning all the things, okay? So you have to give the conditioning, conditioned करना है, right? So conditioning means associations of original responses by artificial stimulus. Okay. Next, we do the assumptions. What are the assumptions of this theory? Okay. What are the principles, assumption on which this theory is based? So number one, according to this theory, behavior is learned by repetitive association between the response and stimulus. Means Ivan Pavlov wants to say that, right? He wants to say that behavior is learned. Okay, you can change the behavior, right? He wants to say that whatever the behavior you have, okay, with the, some stimulus and others, you can change the behavior of the student, because we are doing this theory of a learning now, we are going to become a teacher. Okay, so how we have to teach, how we have to change the behavior of the student by our learning, by our teaching, right? Next assumptions क्या है? Learning is developed through the interaction with the environment. Okay. Third is environment shapes the behavior and internal mental state, and does not take into account any independent activities of mind like thoughts, feelings, emotion, etc. This is the important assumptions. Ivan Pavlov wants to say that in the process of learning, when we are learning any of the thing, okay, there is no role of mind activities, like there is no role of thought, there is no role of feeling, there is no role of emotion, okay, because Ivan Pavlov was behaviorist. That's why he talked about the behaviorism, to change the behavior by giving the, stimulus from the environment. Okay, so he wants to say that learning, it does not into account any independent activities. Environment shapes the behavior. Okay, and you should know that the name of the behaviorist, Ivan Pavlov, Thorndike, Skinner, Watson. Okay, these are the, renowned behaviorists. Okay, in early 1920, when they started, giving these theory, na world के अंदर revolutions आ गया था. this theory, worked as a 40 years, 50 years in all the world. Everybody was using that kind of a theory. Okay. So जो cognitive theories हैं, they came after 1960. Okay. Cognitive means learning takes place with the help of mind activities also, right? So the name of the behaviorist are Ivan Pavlov, Thorndike, Skinner, and Watson, right? This theory we are doing, this was given by the Ivan Pavlov. So main points of behaviorism kya hai? Okay, we have already discussed under the assumptions. So we move directly to the Pavlov experiment on dog, right? So learn carefully this experiment. From this experiment, you will come to know that, how it is happening, how the learning takes place by giving the artificial stimulus, right? Actually, this theory, Pavlov experimented on dog. Under this theory, he used to ring the bell before giving food to the dog. He repeated this activity for several days under the similar conditions. When the food was placed before the dog, the bell was rung. The saliva would secrete in the mouth of the dog, right? After some days, it was observed that only the bell was rung. The food was not given. The food was not placed, but the saliva started secreting. It means natural response or original response. Saliva was obtained by the artificial stimulus, means bell, instead of a giving food, right? Then Pavlov named it as a theory of conditioning, right, guys? So in a simple word, I just want to say that Pavlov experimented on the dog. He put the dog into the cage, and dog was hungry, and when the food was placed in front of the dog, but before placing the food, a bell was rung, right? Bell was rung and food was placed in front of the dog, and dog started secreting saliva and eats the food. But after some days, Pavlov saw that when the bell was rung and the food was not placed, but dog started secreting saliva. Saliva was coming from out of the mouth of the dog, right? So Pavlov named his theory of conditioning, right? Means we can get the original response because saliva was the original response now. Okay. And bell was the artificial stimulus. So by giving the artificial stimulus, we can get the response also. That's why this theory is called the conditioning theory, right? And this is the meaning of the conditioning. By giving a artificial stimulus, you can get the original response. For example, I have given the just example. Okay, you say to the student, tomorrow you will come in the class by learning this question, you will get reward. Okay, so this is a kind of a artificial stimulus now, till you didn't give the reward, hai? So what happens in the next day? Student comes in the class by learning, right? So learning hai, it is a original response. Okay, abhi till you didn't give any kind of a reward to the student. Okay, so you can also get from this. So hum aage chalte hain. Okay, so this is the Pavlov experiment. So dog was kept, this is a observation screen. Only the Pavlov can see, from both sides, containing the meat powder, yeah, food and other thing. Or there was a revolving drum for recording responses. There and tube was collections of a saliva. There was a one tube. Matlab he cut on the neck of the dog, and from there saliva was coming. So he was looking how much saliva is coming. So this is a kind of experiment, right? So when the food was given, but first of all, he start ringing the bell, okay, and the food was given to the dog. But after some days, he observed that when the bell was rung and even the food was not placed, on that condition, dog was secreting saliva. Pavlov named that conditioning, right? So next we do the model of a classical conditioning. Okay, this you have to understand, right? Carefully you have to understand. Even if you open the notebook and other, you can write that, right, guys? There are three things in the model. Okay, you can even make the model in the answer also. First is UCS and second is UCR, right? And second, you are looking UCS plus CS and UCR. Third is CS and CR, right? So we start from the first, UCS. UCS means unconditioned stimulus. Food, it is a unconditioned stimulus thana under the experiment. And UCR is the saliva. Unconditioned response means it is a but obvious na, when the food was placed, हमारे मुंह में भी sometime पानी आ जाता है, तो unconditioned response है, unconditioned stimulus है, unconditioned response है, right? Food was unconditioned stimulus और unconditioned saliva आ रहा था. In the second time, Pavlov added a bell, and bell was the conditioned response, conditioned stimulus. UCS plus CS, it was added within a friction of a seconds. Means when the bell was rung, bell was conditioned stimulus, bell was rung, and within a, you can say, after a 4 or 5 seconds or 3 or 4 seconds, food was placed, right? So what is happening again? Result is UCR, unconditioned response, yani ki saliva, right? Third thing is that, after some times in the third trial, Pavlov removed the food and started ringing the bell only. Now in the third case, the bell was conditioned stimulus, and again saliva is coming from from the mouth of the dog. Now this saliva is a conditioned response. In the third experiment, the saliva which was coming from the mouth of the dog, that named as a conditioned response. Okay, in the early 2 experiments, it was unconditioned, right? So this experiment you have understood and you have to explain, right? When unconditioned food was given, we will get the unconditioned saliva, and when we add the conditioned stimulus, means bell, with the food, so again we are getting a unconditioned response from the student. But when the student has, suppose when the student has already conditioned, okay, every time you are giving the toffee or some reward and some diary and some pen to the student, the next day you will come, by learning I will give you the reward. Every time you are giving the reward, every time. So after after some days, okay, if you can remove the reward, but the student would be conditioned, okay, right? Similarly in this model, in this experiment, food was not placed, even the bell was rung, again we are getting the saliva, we are getting the conditioned response, right guys? So now we discuss what are the educational implications of this theory, right? If you have understood, so then you will come to know that what are the educational implications, being of a teacher, how you can condition the students, what are the different types. Under the educational implication of that theory, he wants to say that, Pavlov wants to say that fear, love, hatred towards specific subjects are created through conditioning. Ek example hai, okay, see that example. For example, a maths teacher with his defective method of teaching and improper behavior in the classroom may be disliked by the learner. The learner develop hatred towards maths due to the teacher's behavior. So guys, have you understood? Means no subject is difficult, not even math, not even science. Why I have given the example of a mathematics? Because when you go, you can see the research, number of students, they say that math is a something, it is a difficult as compared to the other subject. But in actually, mathematics subject is not difficult, science subjects are not difficult, right? But only the behavior of the teacher, we start thinking that subject is difficult. Okay. Okay, think yourself. Okay, when you were in the class of a 6th or 7th. Okay, when you come out from the schools, right, and you start learning particular subject. Okay, suppose my favorite subject was computer. Okay, your favorite subject could be English, could be science, could be any of the subject. Anna, you have remembered now when we were in the 6th, 7th, 8th class. Okay, we come back from the school and we start opening the book of a computer, mathematics and English, whatever our favorite subject. But actually, guys, I want to say that the subject was not favorite. The teacher was favorite. Teacher made that subject favorite. And whatever your subject was weak, yeah, you think that that was difficult subject. Actually, those subjects were not difficult. The behavior of the teacher and the defective method of the teaching teacher made that subject difficult for you. So guys, fear, love, hatred towards specific subjects are created through conditioning. With the help of a conditioning, you can create the difficult subject, you can make the difficult subject in the easy manner. This all depends upon the teacher, right? Second educational implication is that the good method and kind treatment a teacher can bring desirable impacts upon the learners. The learner may like the boring subjects because of the teacher's rule, right? So today onward, you don't have to say that student student is weak. Anna, you have seen many times in the movies, in the schools, in the real examples, you have seen that many teachers says that, when the student got a, less marks, so we labeled the student is weak. Anna, but it never happens. Okay. So this, we are learning a lot of things from this, theory. It was given by the Pavlov, educational implications. Only that theory, we have come to know that with our, improper behavior, with our, we are not doing the sympathy with the student. We are not cooperating with the student. We are not going according to the level of the student. This thing makes the student subject, poor subject in front of the student. Student started, dislike that subject because of the teacher's rule. Right, guys? So no subject is difficult. Okay, the difficult thing is that your behavior, your teaching method, your style of teaching. Okay, so third educational implication is that teachers should know how to motivate their student to learn. Okay, you cannot say that I have given the lecture, my duty is finished, now the duty of student starts. Student can learn by themselves. You are the person who has to motivate the student to learn, right? You should know each and every student in your mind. Okay, you should know the style of the teaching, the skills of the teaching. You should know the psychology. You should know the educational philosophy. This is the reason now we are learning these all subjects under the B.Ed, because B.Ed is a teaching methodology course, right? Teachers should know how to motivate their students to learn. They should be versatile with various strategies that can enhance effective participation of the students in the teaching learning activities. Right, guys? If you encounter with the intelligent students in the class, then you have to prepare the lecture in a that way when you will deliver the lesson in the class, it should be understood by the intelligent guy, average guy, and below average students, right? So this is your duty. You have to, develop the lessons in a such way. So from today onwards, stop blaming the students. Okay. Even I want to say that stop blaming any of the things in the world, right? because teachers are the nation builders. Teachers are the torch bearer of the society. And even guys, I'm, honestly telling you, see the research, open the, research, you will come to know that whatever the countries you are looking at, they are the developed countries. The answer would be the teachers of that country, right? The style of teaching of that, teachers that made that country developed. Okay. Now you have seen that from this year or from last 2 or 3 years, our governments, they have also started working on the educations and others, but till they didn't work. Okay. So next, educational implication, second last, in order to break habits, the teacher needs to lead an individual to make a new response to this same old stimulus. Okay. For example, student is naughty, student is doing, creating lot of problem in the class, nuisance and others. Now you should know that this is the habit of the student. Now you have to break the habit. From this method, from this example, from this theory, you can develop a new habit to the student. Okay. Suppose student is, होते हैं ना, you have seen that, some students are very naughty in the class, na, है ना? So actually every time they are creating a problem. Okay. And you are, you start, losing your temper. Why you are losing the temper? You should know that how to change the habit of the student. Make the student monitor in the class who is naughty. Responsibility will come. He will automatically start, discipline in the class and others. He will forget all the, jo bhi sharaartein thi uski, right? So in order to break the habits, the teacher needs to lead an individual to make a new response to the same old stimulus. Okay. Even with the help of this theory, you can break the negative habit and you can, put the new habit. And next is, educational implications. Teach students to the generalize and discriminate appropriately. Poor performance on one assignment or test does not mean that the student is a poor performer. Okay. Don't judge the student by this, small activities. Okay. Start teaching in a generalized way so that they will come to know that. Start teaching, like discriminate the way. Means this is the teacher, guys, who develop the reasoning power, in the mind of the student. Because many times I have said to you that when you enter in the class and start speaking directly, start teaching directly, so what will happen? You are the person who has killed the reasoning power of the student. Even at least 5 minutes, you have to make a familiar the student with that topic by asking some of the question related with that theory. For example, before going to that theory, I asked from you about the trial and learning theory, right? Some student, didn't respond. Some student, start thinking, okay, what was written in the trial and error. Some student, go into the book. So my purpose has solved. My purpose was that, I want to concentrate your mind towards the learning. Okay, you will learn that. I know that. I'm 100% sure that you will learn later on because you have understood that theory, but you didn't, see the book and others. But at least your alertness, you have come into the class, that was my purpose, right? Similarly, this is all in the hand of the teacher. If you have, gone through these all the theories, these all the psychological methods, these all the learning strategies, teaching strategies, philosophies, skill and teaching, only that you can teach effectively. So guys, this is all about the educational implications of that theory. So now I conclude this topic. So first we did that classical conditioning theory. It was given by the Ivan Pavlov. So under this theory, according to that theory, learning takes place by conditioning. Okay. Next, I'm talking about the experiment on the dog. So Pavlov conducted an experiment on the dog. The dog was hungry, and food was placed inside the cage of the dog. But before giving the food or meat, the bell was rung. Okay. After some times, Only the bell was rung, and Pavlov saw that dog started secreting saliva. Even the food was not placed. Ivan Pavlov named his conditioning. It means we can get the original response from the student by giving the artificial stimulus. Then we discussed about the models of conditioning theory, right? UCS, UCR, right? I show you, right? Unconditioned stimulus, unconditioned response. UCS plus CS, unconditioned stimulus plus conditioned stimulus. Again, UCR, and last, CS, conditioned stimulus, result is conditioned response, right? And then we move to the educational implications we have already discussed, right, guys? I hope this lecture has, you have understood this lecture. Thank you so much, guys.